Meditation is a great tool that can serve many purposes. Stress reduction, improving focus and concentration, emotional regulation, enhancing self-awareness, promoting mental health, promoting physical health, spiritual growth, improving relationships by fostering qualities such as empathy, compassion, and patience, increasing creativity. But there are two great benefits that I personally find so interesting and so beneficial. But before talking about these two, let me explain what I mean when I say meditation, because there are so many different ways in which we can understand meditation. I know what I know only because of my teachers, famous and not. So I see a meditation as a second step in our development, where morality serves as a base, and when developed, concentration and serenity leads to developing insight and wisdom. According to my personal experience, and recently it is supported by involvement of psychological studies in the field of mindfulness, this non-judgmental approach, when we let our fault-finding mind to kind of settle down and we step into the observer mind, is to be the most beneficial. There is no goal in meditation. The only direction is to know, to be present. And this topic, I would say, is rather controversial. As soon as there are steps that are being laid out, our achievement-thirsty mind immediately jumps into wanting to have them the way they are described and the way we understood them. In reality, those 8 steps that I'm going to talk about is only one of the explanations, and they're rather a designation sign. For example, when I see a sign that says New York City, I do understand that sign is not New York City. But when we read or listen to a trusted, respected source, we cannot make this distinguishment. We trust fully whatever was written, and we trust fully whatever we understood from that. So those stages that I'm going to talk about can be experienced very differently from one person to another. They can be skipped. Please do not take it as a literal map. It is a very approximate attempt to explain from one of the most translated resources in English, which is Pali Canon. There are many other attempts to divide meditation in different stages. So that being said, in Pali Canon, there are 2 big parts of meditation level, Arupa Jhana and Rupa Jhana. Rupa Jhana, or body absorptions, has 4 stages, and the first absorption has 5 factors. And I'm going to playing with descriptions with the name that I'm going to use, because I really don't like how we get attached to names and thinking that this is reality. Names are just an attempt to describe reality. These 5 factors are noticing object and staying with the objects, and it is done through our thinking mind, body pleasure, mental elevation, and one-pointedness of our attention when we keep the one object and one object only. And from next point on, we have less and less factors because meditation is about letting go, not about achieving. So in second jhana, our talkative mind settled down and we only have 3 factors: physical pleasure, mental elevation, and one-pointedness. On the third stage, the body pleasure, which experienced like a little bit too rough of a sensation, is dropped out and we only have mental elevation and one-pointedness. And later on, even mental elevation still experience like too much of a vibration. It is also being let go of. And this is where we cross the border to no body experiences. The perception of the body is going away and we feel the space is unlimited. We're not confined into the body sensations. But our consciousness is still there, kind of connected maybe to the head. And when we break off from that, the consciousness is experienced as limitless too. And the next stage calls the realm of nothingness, and the last and 8th one called neither perception nor perception. In the very, very beginner stages, meditation can be very boring, unpleasant, even scary maybe, because we're afraid to stay alone with our own thoughts and body feels discomfort. But as soon as we get closer to experience a little bit of concentration, meditation becomes a very, very enjoyable thing to do. My recommendation, if for a very long time, for years to come, you still feel like you're in the beginner stages, what you can do is find a good experienced teacher, join a prolonged retreat where the group effect, the reduced food intake, reduced sensory information, and just an amount of hours dedicated to practice will make things work for you. Another approach that you can take if you feel like you're stuck in beginner stage, like for example, if I don't have enough time and I want to go deeper in concentration, what I would do, I would put a blindfold on my my eyes. I would put earplugs. I will make sure that my body feels very comfortable and I'm not disturbed by, any kind of temperature changes or, discomfort by sitting. Another thing that you can check is your morality, because morality is the base for concentration. Then what you can do is to expand your areas of practice, because meditation is not about sitting. Meditation can be done in standing and walking and talking and sleeping and eating and washing dishes. Meditation can be everywhere. And of course, these 5 things that I just mentioned can work together very nicely. So coming back to the topic of this video, when finally meditation becomes something very pleasant, something that we really enjoy. And I do really enjoy these 2 effects, as I said. One is the pain-killing effect. I have this personal story time when I experience it very, very clearly, because before, I think I had this ability from a very young age, being a gymnast, when someone is like really, really stretching you and your muscles are tight, you cannot help but start using your breath to slow down, to calm down, and to elevate the pain. Then when I became a martial art teacher and I did a lot of Qigong breathing, I also had this ability to go with the breathing to the painful sensation and release it. But a few years ago, I was walking with a huge German Shepherd, and he had this unpleasant habit of running away, but still I didn't want to always have them on a leash. That's why I had a very, very, very long rope attached to his leash. And I didn't notice that this rope got attached to my foot, and I took a ball and I threw it far, far away, not noticing that he started to drag me. And this is where I started to fall, reached my hand and fell down to my wrist. I broke it into 3 places. And the doctor said that cast would not help. We need to operate. And I do have a metal piece inside my wrist right now here. And of course, after the surgery, I was given pain medication and I went back. I tried to use them and I didn't like side effects, but I had to work. I was a nun. I was helping my teacher to build a little project there. So I was using my hand almost, the second day after the surgery. And I would go back to my room feeling quite painful, after working it. And I would just lay down and direct all my attention to those painful sensations. And it's just wonderful. I wouldn't say that sensations were completely gone, but instead of being unpleasant and painful, they would become pleasant. I could just lay down there and enjoy kind of whooshy, whooshy sound in my wrist and enjoy it for, I think, like hours. And it's not a trick that I want to share with you. I think all of us would benefit from this ability to let go of physical pain. Imagine all of us are going to go through sickness, old age, and death. And if we have this ability to just stay with our physical body and elevate unpleasant sensation, how beneficial would that be? How much money we can save, by not taking those medications that we also can get addicted to. And the other wonderful effect that I would like to talk about is beautification. And I'm not talking about beautification of our own selves, but you see, when a normal person sees something ugly, unpleasant, disgusting, he sees it as ugly, unpleasant, and disgusting. And when he sees something beautiful and nice, he sees it as beautiful and nice. And in meditation, in especially monastic practice, we learn to see pleasant, desirable as something disgusting, something that binds us. And something that is disgusting is something good and pleasant. And when we go deep into meditation, and for example, we observe the breathing long enough, we suddenly start to notice that the breathing becomes beautiful. It's just something almost magical that you can spend hours observing. And when you emerge from meditation, you can look, for example, at a tree, at a leaf, at a grass, at birds flying in the sky, and everything feels just almost magical. And I'm not talking about this, ability to see everything through the lens of pink eyeglasses. But this world is so full of pain, destruction, and death that we almost get, so smashed by that. If we have the ability to transcend that, and I'm not saying that it is okay, that death is okay, that war is okay. No. But when we have this ability to transcend us being crushed by that. If we can see things as they are, we can do more about it. We can help. We can, be beneficial to the society. And I remember noticing this effect on me when I read the book by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Miracle of Mindfulness. I was in Chicago back then, and we had a big event with, 200 people, and everything was kind of stressful. So many things were going on. And I was just trying to be so mindful that every movement that I would do, I would be so slow, so present that I started to enjoy every movement of my body, every breath, every, raise of my eyes. And I would look at people and just feel so nice. And again, how beneficial would that be for us and for the whole world when we would just be enjoying the present moment without needing anything else? So these are two great, I think, side effects of meditation that we can utilize into enhancing our life quality and make it better. I hope you're enjoying your practice. Take care.